Well, I hope you all can feel the rhythm off the back of their upset win over the Chiefs on Villa 7-4. They, of course, avoid relegation, or maybe they don't. There's some twists in the tale that we'll, of course, dissect later on tonight. Guys, moving ahead, though, of course, our match of the day. Now, quickly, I want to remind everyone on the Rainbow Six Bravo channel that this is being broadcasted on Rainbow Six ANZ as well. And we'll be doing a giveaway there, M-Wave voucher for $50. So if you want to be involved in that, that giveaway will be happening during this upcoming match. So you've got to be on that particular channel as well. Moving ahead, of course, we'll dissect the game, Roffle versus Overt. I'll go to you first on this one, Dev Marta. What's your thoughts coming into it?
Oh, it's a big game. It's the match of the day for the reason. Roflcopter have had a really rough season, but have no doubt been the rookie team of the year. Overt also have had a fantastic stage as well, coming in their debut. So let's talk Roffle for a hot minute. They made some pretty significant roster changes. Bouncin went out, departed from the team. Campo went over to coach. They brought in Wettables from the old LFO roster, and Kakin down from Fury in OCL. So Kakin's very familiar with versing Overt. He used to verse them every single week back in OCL, and he's ready to play here. He's been a fantastic player, and I actually have a little bit of insider info. I know from chatting to him the other day that Roffle's actually been making some role changes on the team as well. Kakin's very renowned for being a bit of a support main, he's strong at fragging, but always on those support roles. And now they're putting him on an entry position, which I'm really excited for. I think that Roffle's attacks are going to be hopefully having a bit more teeth. Obviously, they lost Bouncin, so they need someone else who can step up.
Their opponents for this game have been the talk of the town so far in this stage. Overt, of course, the team that came from OCL and has been making a splash here in OCN. Vast, they have been so impeccable to watch. They've been amazing. They've been an attacking kind of style of Siege. It's got them in this sort of playoff position, and if they can win here, they will confirm themselves a spot in the playoffs.
I mean, coming into this stage, I will admit, I did not expect these guys to make playoffs. I just felt like the lack of experience would really, highlight a lot of errors in their kind of gameplay. But man, these guys have, come into OCN with just zero fear, playing with confidence every single game. It doesn't matter who they're versing, whether it's Knights, whether it's Rhythm, whether it's Wildcard. They're just really matching everyone's aggression. And yeah, I just really like watching these guys play. I think they have a lot of good things going for them. And yeah, I'm honestly just really excited to see not only if these guys qualify for playoffs, but how they will go in playoffs. I think it will, having these guys in playoffs with Chiefs, Bliss, and Knights, I think we're going to see a really competitive playoffs if that's the case.
I think Overt's a team that, of course, have already sort of passed the pass mark, I guess, as you can say, Dev. They've already, like, the expectations coming into this stage were to see if they can find a win. And at that best, they were probably going to finish in the bottom three. Well, they completely smashed those expectations and obviously now are pretty close to confirming themselves a spot in the playoffs. But like, what's that next step then? What's that next expectation? Is it to win a playoff game, or is there just no expectation at all?
Honestly, I think making playoffs is still something these guys haven't proven yet. So that is the next step, is winning this match right here, making playoffs. That is proof in itself. Then go as hard as they can in playoffs, regardless of how they do there. I'm pretty sure it's almost impossible for them to not make it to the relegations at the end of the year. So they know that that's waiting for them. They're just hoping to get the maximum amount of experience as possible until then, because remember, right, like, all 5 of the players on this roster have never played at this level before. Yeah, they've been playing in OCL for a while. Sawyer himself used to coach the old Meloncat / Noble roster with, Derpet, Nico, Milo, all those guys, Fisho guy, all those guys on it. So, like, he has experience at the higher level, but that was as a coach, not as a player. This team is ready to take that next step. I'm really excited. I think they're one of the hungriest, if not the hungriest team in all of OCE, and they are just so ready. I think it won't be long before we're looking at them as a contender for Apex South as well.
Let's head over to the map, Vitos, and see whether or not we head to Villa once again for the 3rd time in a row. It's not. In fact, it's the old Villa. It's the original Villa. It's Clubhouse, which we haven't seen too often here in Stage 3. I'll go to you on this one, Vast, and hopefully you've got the stat trackers up and all of that and the numbers. Are you surprised by this map choice?
A little bit. I mean, I felt that I mean, Wildcard's Clubhouse is, you know, one of their best maps, and seeing what Overt did to them on Clubhouse, you know, it's a bit. I thought that, you know, Ruffle would have banned Club in Oregon. Oregon's a really good map for Overt. They just look really strong in it, so that's a bit of a no-brainer. I felt that maybe this map would have gone to a Coast or CAF, but I think Clubhouse, it's kind of strange, right? Because in theory, it should be a good map for Ruffle. Club is a map that there's not too many opportunities to get really aggressive, and that's what Overt like. They like having heaps of opportunities to make plays, but it seems like against Wildcard, they just kind of created it and tried to force it, and it was working. So, yeah, I think this is a really good map for Overt. Ruffle, they did beat Order, but recently they kind of got destroyed by Chiefs. Maybe they think that, maybe they kind of pinned that loss to maybe comms or mental, not necessarily the way they play the maps, and maybe that's why they left it up.
Dev, I'm going to have to just go straight to this question. Of course, Overt, they beat Wildcard 7-2 on Clubhouse yesterday. Roflcopter seemingly paying no mind to that.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Yesterday, right? Like, Roflcopter lost 7-1 to Chiefs on Clubhouse. Wildcard lost to Overt 7-2 on Clubhouse. So, yeah, yesterday Roflcopter played badly on Club. Overt played really well. Really strange that that Ruffle wouldn't ban it out. But like you were saying, Vas, I think it's a hard veto for Ruffle to navigate. Like, they banned Villa, that's their insta-ban. They never play that. Neither do they play Chalet, fortunately. Overt banned it for them. You already mentioned Overt have a strong Oregon, so Ruffle need to ban that. And Bank is clearly a map that, I mean, it was the last ban for Ruffle. Like, Roflcopter are kind of sitting there and like, do we leave in Clubhouse or do we ban Bank? They almost like Roflcopter's hand was forced, and I think that Overt definitely holds the power here. There's a chance that things will be turned on their head. Maybe Roflcopter was just having a really bad night last night. But I definitely feel like we're about to, in the next hour, lock in our 5th playoffs team, and I think it will be Overt.
You're going straight for the Overt route. Vast, you've got a bit of time here, buddy. Where are you heading with this one? Do you sense that Overt, with their Clubhouse dominance of yesterday, should be able to recapture that form here for today?
I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel for Ruffle, and that light is they need to start playing more to their opponents. I think they fall victim to just trying to play their own game way too much, and it just has not been working. We saw them kind of try to play a little bit out of their comfort zone against Knights, a bit more aggression that we haven't really seen from them, and it was working. It wasn't enough to get them to win, but it was, you know, gave them quite a big lead. So I think Ruffle definitely need to, you know, try to counter Overt and not play their own game. We saw Bliss do it really well. Bliss put heaps of pressure on Overt. Bliss were probably the only team in OCN that have really put heaps of pressure on Overt, and we saw that pressure really kind of force mistakes, make them crumble, not think clearly. So I think that's honestly what Ruffle needs to do. Whether they do that, I'm not really sure. They haven't kind of shown that they're capable of doing that in the past, but...
Well, quickly, if you had to make a guess, if you had to get off the fence here and make a prediction, who are you going with?
I predicted Ruffle, and...
No way. I did too. I regret it as well.
I hate to say it, I do regret it, because, I don't know, Ducky must have messaged me in the morning or something, and I was half asleep just doing all my predictions, but I don't know. I'd like to put a bit of faith in Ruffle. I think, as I said with, you know, a few other games, there needs to be a turning point. Even with Rhythm, I said there needs to be a turning point. I think this has to be the turning point for Ruffle. But it's, you know, it's not going to be easy.
We'll see whether or not Roflcopter can turn this helicopter around and fly up for the time being. They have been flying down. We head over to Clubhouse. It's a 4-game losing streak for Roflcopter coming into this match, and it's a must-win match as well coming into it. So it's time to wrestle back momentum over to their side. For Overt, it's pretty clear. You win this, you lock up that playoff position. You also do it for your friends over in Rhythm. Let's head over to Clubhouse, where, of course, we are going to see the ban phase. Defense, it's going to be Ruffle, Overt on the attack. Let's get this one underway for our match of the day.
And a little return of the OCL rivalry between these Overt boys and Kakin, formerly from Fury. It's been a long time since they have versed each other. Here in OCN, it is a very, very important game for both teams. Overt get this, and they lock in the playoffs in their first ever season of OCN. Hibana taken off after the Thatcher. Both of these teams like to ban Hibana on clubs, so I think that's good. Impact tricking is going to be on the cards. If the Kaid slips through here, we're going to have to see a lot of Maverick play thanks to that Thatcher ban. The Malusi as well is a nice one here from Overt. It's one that they've been banning quite a lot recently in all but one of their OCN matches so far, and it really does enable that aggression. Just go and swing. You don't have to worry about any Banshees slowing you down.
And of course the Valkyrie as well to be taken off the board, so there's less information available to be gathered for the defenders here on Clubhouse. A pretty standard ban. As I said before, Roflcopter will be on the defense first. They should be expected to probably have about a 4-2 half roughly. That would be par for the course. And Overt on the attack, as they've been all stage long. A team that's been aggressive, a team that has looked to push the issue, set the tempo, get in the face of their opposition. I have to feel though, Rofl might be a team that's more than happy to sort of play fire with fire and take that aggression and sort of turn it on Overt.
Both of these teams definitely capable of that aggressive play style. And I've no doubt we'll see a lot of just people near the bomb site deciding to make plays, thanks to that Malusi ban. And Roflcopter, if they've done their research, they'll know that it was a highly likely ban from Overt, and Roflcopter needs to be ready to play around it.
Now, HB Omen community vote, of course, is entirely in favor of Overt. Not too surprised, they've turned into a pretty big fan favorite. For those that want to get involved and have their vote, we've got one more game after this where you can obviously have a vote. It's at R6 Esports OCE and at Omen by HP_ANZ to vote on the next series. Go and give them a follow and a vote. But yeah, large contingent of fans for Overt coming in from OCL, and it shows they're in that poll, in that vote. And as we've already sort of said, I think had we not done the votes maybe at the start of the week, we probably would have seen a few more in favor of Overt.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like at this point, they are considered the favorites in this matchup, despite being the newbies to the league. Cairo just getting rid of the soft pumper wall nice and early. Not expecting that to get rid of the reinforcement, but rather just making it nice and easy for Sawyer to come through with that Maverick torch, open up a line at the top and a line at the bottom, and that wall will just disappear. Very risky though. If you get rid of the soft wall first, it means that as soon as this is actually breached open from Sawyer, that wall's going to fall apart, and he's going to be vulnerable to getting swung. So he's going to have to make sure he gets out really quickly.
I think there was a little bit of comedy last night with Hotshot and this particular wall, which was absolutely disgusting by the casters, by the way. I'll shame them here publicly. Manic Monday and Guz. Just disappointing, laughing at a man trying to open up a wall. He did his best, and you guys were far too toxic, so
I will
be
say,
better.
I do enjoy watching Guz cast. I find myself smiling on so many occasions.
Especially during the contest. He is always one to put a smile on a face. Minute 40 seconds remaining here, opening round. Not a whole lot actually from Overt in terms of that attacking prowess that we're used to seeing, although Clubhouse can sometimes be a map that doesn't quite allow it to happen as much. OJ, though, going for a flank up main stairs and could be a vocal point here late into the round. If they don't catch him, he could do some serious damage on the flank.
Really good, effective push here, though, for Overt. And as long as they are watching that flank, I have a lot of confidence in them. I haven't managed to breach the CCTV wall as of yet, or the cache wall, rather, from Con as of yet. They do have that CC wall open really early. Time is starting to tick away, and there's a couple of anchors here that are going to be problematic. You can see now they're turning their attention to really putting the pressure on Boydie. Oh my god. What an angle there from Cairo, and now a nade through the floor as well will dissipate this shield. So Ed Pan's doing some good work. 45 seconds left, but the mute of OJ has the flank. They just weren't watching. Cairo gets punished for it, but how much more damage can he do here on the road? Chaos ensues.
They know there's only two on site, though, knowing that that player is roaming around logistics. Wedable's actually in garage right now. This is going to allow Twent to actually get on site. Does get to die by the gas babe, though, who OJ loses his life. Kaken, that's the final gas babe as well. 20 seconds left. Twent still inside a CCTV. They've got this surrounded, but Kaken actually finds an angle onto Sawyer. Suddenly Overt losing players. Wedable's now from the top of garage. He's able to actually get involved here too. Thinking that there's no one in there, he comes in late. Twent, though, does get the trade. He gets the second one as well onto Kaken. The planter turns into the fragger with a quick double at the end.
What a round there. My God, it was over. You just blink and you miss it. The utter plays from Twent. He just went so forward there with that AK, a devilish weapon to put in the hands of someone who knows how to use it. A huge play at the end. He just brute forced in from the AC window on the balcony. He jumps straight into CCTV, takes a fight in sight, and then covers for his teammates. He really had to get that plant down, but in the end, it doesn't matter. He went for kills and clutched up hugely.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Is this going to be a window into what this game could look like? A glimpse into the future. Tight sort of rounds that go down to the final seconds. It's 1v1s and 2v2 kind of scenarios. Probably to be expected to a degree. Both of these two teams are more than happy to, roam around to try and find kills early on in games, as we're going to see an SSG setup roam here from Roflcopter on Church Arsenal. Overt probably are more than happy with that. If they can find a pick or two early on above with their top-down sweep, that probably plays into Overt's favor. So we'll see if Rofl are ready for it on the trigger to take these fights upstairs.
Info denial, though, is going to be really testing out Overt's roam clearing skills. When you can't just entry on your drones, it's so much more difficult. When you don't have accurate info, you really have to change the way you play. So Overt will be tested here. I will say for Roflcopter, another bit of insight is that, what Kaken was telling me is that he doesn't really consider that, oh my God, what is this play for Kaken? No, for Cairo. He doesn't actually end up following up those flashbangs, but he's just trying to put a lot of pressure. Maybe the idea is you throw those flashes in, you open that door, make Roflcopter think that you're going to hard pressure site and get some of these roamers to start dropping back. You can see how far the roamers have peeled back. Already 3 on site and 2 in bar, very ready to fall back to site. I wonder if that was on the back of the bait from Cairo. If so, Overt's method of roam clearing has been baiting the roamers to come back to site. How good is that?
That is some absolute new state, big brain thoughts from you, Dev. I think maybe you're getting a little too ahead of yourself, but hey, maybe there's some method to the madness, I guess. Clearing top red. I think it was Wearable still roaming.
It's so much easier if you don't have to clear the top floor. Like, the top floor is where it really gets difficult. Once you have top, clearing bar is not so difficult, but getting top floor control is the real difficult niggle, and it looks like Overt made that much easier already. Roflcopter made it easier for them. Oh, Elements almost finds that.
Yeah, so all 5 now back on site here for Roflcopter. The roam not quite that successful. Elements actually finds that kill into blue. Wearable is going to be the player that does go down. The Mozzie out for the count. Minute and 10 seconds remaining here, and so far now they can get to work down through Motor Hatch. They can obviously now also open up a bit of kitchen. Technically, dirt is also an availability that we saw early on opened up as well. So there's actually quite a few angles available for Overt here for a Church Arsenal site. This is looking good for these hackers.
Yeah, a bit risky here for Kara. He opens up the ash wall, the rush wall, at the bottom of Armory, and if they're going for a church attack, that's actually potentially going to backstab them, because it means that Roflcopter can actually just rotate into short from Armory really easily. But they are going to go maybe to put some pressure on Kitchen, and now they're just starting to execute. The plant's going down!
Yeah, inside a church at the moment. Sawyer's going to stick this plant down, being covered by Twent over towards main. They are actually successful in getting this established. 3 versus 3. Now it's a retake scenario for Rofl. Hot shot, though, with the hot shot onto Sawyer. Now gives the advantage over to Roflcopter. The defense starting to just bring this back. But Twent, again, over at main, successful with those shots. Edpan still inside a church as well, holding his ground. The ping comes out. Edpan gets a second. Twent does not lose those! And just like the round prior, Twent able to get the last kill, the one that matters the most, wins the round for Overt. They go up 2-0.
Wow, that caught me off guard, Xenox. I'm sure you could tell, but I was still trying to analyze their pre-execute when the execute came through. They went in early. I really like this from Overt. They're trying to play really unpredictably. You can see Sawyer was tapping his head. Is he saying that we're in their heads? Because I don't know, I feel like Overt might just be. There's a lot of things to break down there, right? Obviously, I mentioned Cairo spamming those flashes and putting that pressure on dirt really early. Whether or not that was the reason Roflcopter's roamers came back so fast, we can't know. we'd have to ask RoflcopterGG. But I have a feeling it was a large part of it. Great play from Overt. Another great play from Overt is even after setting up for that church take with opening blue hatch, opening the moto hatch, they were still putting pressure elsewhere, right? You could hear Ace's Selmas detonating on the kitchen hatch as they were going for their execute. And that means that Overt are becoming really difficult to read, right? RoflcopterGG is getting breached everywhere at once. Where are they expecting the push?
Just quickly as well, before we go further here with the analysis, as best as it is from you, Dev, let's touch on our match of the day, of course, Overt versus Roffle as it's happening now. Head on over to twitch.tv/Rainbow6ANZ, and there will be a giveaway happening inside of the Twitch chat, MWay $50 voucher. I believe Sky might be the one organizing that. Either way, that'll be in the Twitch chat being organized, so get involved and maybe you can walk away with $50. But you can now go back to your analysis, Dev. It's all you. Take the floor.
I mean, that's it. I mean, we're set up pretty well, and now for Overt, they're looking in control of this game on their attack, no less. You said RoflcopterGG's win condition here for defense was a 4-2 half. They're going to have to find 4 straight to make that happen.
Great start to this do-or-die match for Overt, playing for their playoff lifeline, playing to also secure top 5 with a whole Playday to go if they do in fact come away with the win. And RoflcopterGG, of course, from their own side of things and from their perspective are fighting for their own playoff life here. They need to win this game. It just no other way to say it. They lose this, they can't make playoffs. So big game for both of these two teams. If Overt lose, it just leaves the door ajar that maybe they get overtaken. They won't want that to happen after what's been an amazing stage for the ex-OCL team. 5 versus 5 early on in this game. So far, it's been Overt with both of the opening picks and with both of the final picks as well in both of the first 2 rounds. Kyro and Elements being the ones getting those kills. Straight into Kitchen to put a bit of work here. 1.5 minutes remaining, and it's a bit more on-site presence from RoflcopterGG. Kaken with that Nitrocell will take out Kyro. That's the buck off the board.
Big pick's going to make the vertical game a lot more difficult, especially if they decide to go for that kitchen push. You really need to get a lot of good vert so that you can enable that hatch to open. Twent still has all of his Salmers. I feel like a play here for Overt is to go for the church push. They can breach the church wall with the Salmers. I don't believe there's a mute jam. Maybe Mandy could check for us in a moment. Oh, that's an angle. Sorry, Mandy, I completely cursed you. You were about to catch that kill as well. There are mute jammers on this church wall, so it's going to be difficult for Twent to breach that. I'm just going to shut up and let Mandy do her job.
Stop trying to micromanage. 40 seconds remaining inside of the round. RoflcopterGG needs to do probably better at this portion of the game. So far in the first 2 rounds, it's Overt who have been able to win most of these trades. They're prepared, though, for this attack. Twent, again, over towards the main position, but this time he's got the diffuser.
Really impactful kill was the one onto Hotshot, the Echo player. 20 seconds left, no possibility for Plantanar.
Oh, someone's going to have to make the first move. It's Wettables from Blue. Kaken got the kill, so did Boydie.
Oh, no,
Twent, that's not ideal either. That's the round probably over with Edpen in a similar position to the round prior, this time with no help. RoflcopterGG finally on the board here.
Yeah, look, bit messy there for Overt. I feel like the 4v4 wasn't super unfavored for them, but just really, really strange execute, really, really messy. I think it just came down to the time. They eventually did get a breach off on the church wall, but just too little too late. They lost a lot of openings when it came down to it as well. And then, of course, the team kill certainly didn't help. For Overt, though, they should be pretty happy now. 2 rounds is all you need on your attack for Clubhouse. They would definitely be shooting for 3 or 4. If they get 4, I'm pretty certain that they're on track to win this game. RoflcopterGG, they were confident in their defenses even before making these role changes. Kaken was telling me, I mean, he's staying on support for defense. As you can see, he's playing anchor, he's playing smoke. It's what he loves. He loves running that shotgun, loves running that SMG-11. It's attack where RoflcopterGG had identified their issues were. So we won't really get to test them properly until we switch into the second half.
Yeah, and I think I've probably been an advocate for suggesting that in a lot of matches. It's always difficult to get ahead of yourselves. First half doesn't quite always tell the whole story. Also, remembering Ruffle's on the defense, and Clubhouse statistically and historically has been a rather defender-sided kind of map. 4-2 halves is generally the way it goes. So it does at least put, for Overt, less pressure on them now in the final rounds of this opening half. They don't have to probably achieve too much more. Even a 3-3 kind of half, I think, is a win for Overt going over to their defense. So it just means that there's more pressure still on Ruffle. They get the big breakthrough win, though, down Church Arsenal. But now you got to come upstairs, win Cash CCTV, win Gym Bedroom, and go from there. Sawyer's going to get to work on this Kennel's Wall.
Strong and steady from Overt, and it looks like they're likely to go for a similar push to what they did last time, which was very effective, mind you. Only problem was that it got very close at the end of the round. It actually relied on the clutch, the 1v2 from Twent. So hopefully they don't have that again. Overt, a little bit slower than they have been previously, just making sure not to be susceptible to any aggression. Now, wall breach, they can rotate back over to construction, start getting to work here. Cairo's been droned in. This is really good. If they're just a little bit more adept on their flank watch as well, I think we'll be pretty well set, because that was one of their weaknesses previously. OJ managed to get a pick. Oh, nice pre-plepped C4, but doesn't end up working. I think that was just a sound call for the C4 based on when the skeleton key went through. Oh my God, OJ, that's a bit ambitious.
It doesn't quite get the ultimate goal, though, in finding that first pick. Minute 25 seconds remaining, but suddenly con control has been established for Overt. 2 players at top red, don't see that too often, Kaken and Wettables. And of course, still one in Rafters as well, established here defensively for Ruffle. OJ does find the opening pick onto Twent. That's the ace off the board. Sawyer's got a lot of work to do now in opening up whatever walls they may still need, which of course Conwall is going to be said wall.
I don't know why they're still trying to nade that mute jammer off when they have Mav and Ace is dead. They're really struggling, though. With this ADS is worth its weight in gold at the moment. That's a line from the Maverick to expose some positions on site, but Boydie has the bomb for cover, and attackers outside do not. This is really difficult now, honestly. Overt don't have a lot going for them, and it's not just the man disadvantage, it's the fact that they've wasted a lot of their util. Good pick, though. OJ goes down.
Makes it a 4 versus 4. Element swings top red. Catches the head quite literally onto Kaken. Edpen elsewhere got one on the hot shot. Although the trade's back, Boydie inside of Catch is able to get 2. Sawyer's still planting, by the way, while all of this was happening. Edpen with Rafters control. Can't quite get that elimination onto Boydie. Wettables comes in with 2! Where did that come from? Boydie and Wettables, the dynamic duo, win the round for Ruffle.
Bomb diffuser disabled by defenders.
That most certainly did not look like it was going to be a Roflcopter round. Overt made a banging entry. Really fantastic playmaking potential from the Overt guys. And it was just Boydie and Wettables who stood up. 2 picks apiece, and that's all she wrote. A fantastic round from Roflcopter. Now ties up the scoreline once again to an even first half. We still have 2 more rounds to go as we head to Gym and Bedroom for the very first time.
Yeah, and look, honestly, this is... It's hard to get ahead, right? Because Roflcopter are expected to win defensively. And for Overt, it's like they were so close to maybe establishing that 3-1 lead on their attack here on Clubhouse. Should they have? Maybe. They had that angle watching into Cash, yet couldn't quite win that fight. Credit to Wettables. Boydie with 2 big kills. Is that the kind of round where Overt are going to look back and think, gee, we should have won that? For all intents and purposes, despite it being, a pretty decent sight sometimes for defenders, Catch and CCTV. It's not an impossible sight to hold, but they were in a position to win it. They got that plant down. They should have been able to win it from there. They didn't. Ruffle win. Suddenly now there's momentum also building here for Ruffle over the last 2 rounds. The first 2 rounds were almost like a bit of a sucker punch from Overt. They come into this map, 2 quick round wins. They're up 2-0 on the attack. It's looking great. Happy days. But Ruffle have the mental fortitude here to sort of bounce back, win 2 rounds of their own. Tough rounds at that. Now can they continue on and establish a lead here?
I agree with you. Such a pivotal round that Ruffle just won. We could be having a significant lead here for Overt, and par already met. But instead, they're going to have to work hard for it. And next round, Church Arsenal is going to be back open again. Oh, aggressive push there. With the suppressor as well for OJ, it'll make it a little bit more difficult for the attacker to figure out where he's getting shot from. Might actually be able to make a play here. He might go for it. Oh no. Gets droned out. That means he can no longer go for that aggressive run out. The Aruni is such a good operator for going for runouts because you can just one-punch barricades. Don't have to worry about telegraphing with extra noise. But Overt have shut that down and already breached that main jacuzzi wall. Oh, they haven't actually finished breaching it. I thought they did. Apparently not.
I don't even think they've started.
They're almost done.
Almost done now.
Oh, come on, Sawyer.
No, he's good. He's got it. All right, cool. Bit at 50. I mean, that's not too bad, right? I mean, that's half of the course there if you saw it. But if things maybe halted a little bit here for Overt, it feels like this game is now under control of Rofl. Element seeing what he can find from balcony. Not going to be given too much. And it just feels Roflcopter have found themselves in a position where they have established themselves a bit more defensively. They've got generally a player like OJ roaming around, finding a pick, but they're held up really well on site, and Overt are getting nothing to work off. Look at OJ being an absolute rat down below.
Oh, he's going for that one punch.
Oh, Sawyer!
But the vault is not good enough, and Sawyer cuts him down. That's a really impactful pick for Overt there, and already shut down that X factor that Roflcopter were trying to bring. I will say though, this is very, very late. Edpan has been shut down. There's no breach on the CCTV wall, which means Overt can't really play on this balcony safely. Elements might find this pick. Oh no, boy, he gets shut down. Oh my, now Overt have it in their hands.
You would think so. Wettables though, 6-2. Make it 7-2. Don't count out Rofl yet when he's still on the table.
Jeez.
Hot shot being, he's Robin to the Batman. Twent outside, not even inside. Two-man advantage, now no advantage. Cairo's getting lit up inside a bedroom. Wins that fight though, and Twent wins his. 2 1v1s, both successful for Overt, and they win out another close round, Dev. It feels like almost all of them have been close like that. I said it after round 1. Is this going to be the kind of match where there's 1v1s and 2v2s? So far, that's been the first half.
It certainly has, and Overt, look, they give me a heart attack sometimes, but they know how to thrive in the chaos. They know how to just do an unexpected play and use incredible gun skill to salvage rounds. Now, it certainly gets close when Roflcopter fight back with some really solid shots of their own. But I think part of the charm of Overt here is they're not always doing the normal. For example, not breaching CCTV wall at all. There was a pretty hard hold there from Boydie, and if you don't breach CCTV, if you don't put any pressure that side, then you can't really play on that balcony because they'll just peek you from the single window. The only thing that Overt did to try and pressure that was one player, Finker, Edpan, walking up red stairs. He was shut down easily. Fortunately for Overt, they just found as many picks back again and then took advantage on the back of those entries. As soon as they have it, they just go all in. And now, finally, Xenox, as you say, they have that 3 rounds. They could make it 4 here. They've already won a Church and Arsenal attack once.
Yeah, but kind of going back to what we mentioned a little bit earlier about it's hard to get too ahead of ourselves. Yes, the expectations are on Rofl, on the defense here on Clubhouse. But who's to say that we go into the second half and maybe Overt's defense kind of gets picked apart. Maybe Rofl feel a little bit more freedom on the attack. You know, Wettables is having a really good game right now. Maybe being able to be on the attack, force those fights, he can have an even more impactful performance. But so far, it's hard to say where it's going to go. But if Overt do establish a 4-2 lead, you got to back them in. You kind of have to. They're based off of the numbers and the stats and the science of it all. You would be backing in Overt. And if that is the case, then that's Rofl, I guess, done for the stage, really, because they won't be able to make the playoffs. It will also mean Rhythm 110% secure themselves. Wettables, though, this is what I'm saying. This guy is on fire right now. Twent gets taken apart, loses the diffuser, and a nice start to the round for Rofl.
Really love that aggressive play for Wettables. I really love the strategy overall, the adaptation from Roflcopter. They're not going for that SSG roam anymore. When they tried it, it didn't work. Instead, they're just loose roaming, and Wettables, he can find 1 kill and get traded back, and that's still a win, I would say, for Roflcopter. Waitables lost no utility when he died. He can now sit on cameras, but Overt have lost one of their pivotal hard breaches, the ace.
Minute 45 seconds remaining in the final round of this opening half. Our match of the day shaping up as the match of the day, and we've already had a pretty good result earlier. Of course, Rhythm beating Chiefs. If you missed that one, that did indeed happen. Boydie inside of Dirt. 4 versus 4.
This is really hard now for Sawyer. I mean, he's the only guy with hard breach, and it takes half of his entire capable gas just to breach one hatch. So now that he's used to one here on Dirt, he's really probably only going to get one hatch open. It's funny, they look like they're putting some pressure on Kitchen, and you would usually only open Dirt to go for a Kitchen push, but he's actually going to open Moto hatch instead. Kitchen hatch unlikely to get opened here. It's going to take almost all of his remaining gas just to get this one hatch open. He should have one tank left. If he does it right, it takes 2.5 to open a hatch.
Do they even have the manpower to send a player through Dirt, which has been opened up as well? I think you almost have to, because you have not got that Kitchen hatch available. You could obviously come down through Blue as well, Secret. Kyra is actually looking like he is going to push up through Dirt. There is going to be
nice
first
flash.
gas fade established by Boydie. I think Kyra has seen enough now and thinks there's no point trying to push through that. May as well help out elsewhere. 30 seconds remaining. They at least have the information that the smoke is inside of Dirt, can play off of that. So it's looking like a Moto hatch and Blue push.
And it's got to be at this point, but the mirror window is going to make this all kinds of difficult for Overt, but they have a man advantage, and OJ hasn't managed to land the shots, finally gets the down, and it's a 2v3 for the remaining Overt players, and they are getting shut down. Hotshot can be traded back, but it's not likely to mean much here. He's going to try and stick this, but it's going to be an easy cleanup for Rofl. That is the half, 3-3. Our match of the day is going to go the distance.
Well, quite literally could not be closer that first half. 3-3. I think we can agree that's still probably a better result for Overt than Rofl, but Rofl have at least fought back here because it was a 2-0 start for Overt, and then from there Rofl started to bring it back to at least a respectable scoreline. 3-3 at the half, not that bad. It does mean though, of course, they're going to need to sort of have a 3-3 attacking half at least to force it to OT, or maybe they can even have a better attacking half. Nevertheless though, Overt on the defense first up, straight into the roam game, immediately Church Arsenal up above with the, I mean, is it really even the SSG roam anymore? Just call it the roam.
Yeah, it's just, it's such a distinctive thing, isn't it, right? When you've got Mute,
Time to
Mozzie,
move
Castle,
on.
and Vigil people. I mean, they were the ones who invented it. They were the ones who did it back in, was it end of 2019, started 2020, it started to be popularized.
Nah, it didn't even have good casters back in 2019, Siege.
Yeah, I mean,
2020 is when things picked up.
Look, it's funny because we've seen one SSG style. Actually, this isn't an SSG style. You'd never reinforce this hatch on an SSG style room. So there you go, Xenox. I'll pay what you said. This is not an SSG room.
This is the Overt room.
Moto hatch. This is indeed a Moto. Can we get a bit of an idea of what everything is going on there, Mandy? Sorry to just continue banging on this.
The micromanaging.
All right, so top floor.
Ooh.
We've got Ed Pan, that's it. No doubt a couple of mute jammers. I can't see any mute jammers. You won't be able to see any pests from back here. Reinforcements up top. No mute jam. Oh, there was a mute jammer that's now taken down. I'll rotate down red now, surely. It's just really hard now. Overt don't have many options for rotating back to site is the thing, right? Because that Moto hatch is reinforced.
You can come down red, and then obviously Sawyer's kind of positioned as well.
It's easy for them to cut that off, right? If they got lounge control, they've got a player outside the window, they can cut off that rotate. And same for main stairs, right? Like main stairs is the only other way you can get back downstairs, or the ladder in garage, which you'll never manage to get. So they do manage to get down blue.
Are they
no one was covering it.
Yeah, this is a bit strange because I was thinking maybe for a split second, do you sacrifice Edpan? Not necessarily quite literally sacrifice him, but leave him upstairs for the time being, maybe the next 40 seconds, and then come in late for like a late flank as the Vigil, but even he's gone straight back down. I think even he was going towards Dirt, for example. This is a bit odd. Time has been wasted to a degree, minute and a half, and I think whenever you're defending Church Arsenal, the main goal is to make sure you do not lose a player, but you don't even get an attacking player, so it just makes it pretty even, and that's okay for Overt. Voidy can just get to work now on the buck. They haven't lost anyone. They've got 3 hard breaches, which has been a topic tonight, Dev. They got 3 of them, so they're more than capable of opening basically everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much do you want me to read into this? Because the only benefit I can think of going for that strat is they wasted a little bit of hard breach off site because they reinforced like the external kennels wall, for example. But like you said, triple hard breach means that absolutely doesn't matter. Like, Kaken hasn't used a single Selma yet. OJ's still has an exothermic left, and plus we got Hotshot with 5 canisters. That's unfortunately not a nade that landed. He was trying to get it through that tiny hole above the reinforcement so it could take out those mute jammers, potentially get a free kill. Ooh, gets it on the second throw. That's really nice. Plus it destroys the bar. Only thing is that bar you might actually want open if you're going to plant there. Really nice breach though on the wall. OJ might lose this fight. The shotgun just on the other side.
Got him!
And Elements gets it.
Oh, and that's the diffuser down as well. 20 seconds remaining. Elements, though, has been taken apart by Kaken. That's at least now giving Roflcopter the advantage back again, but he's low over towards main. They still got to try and get this diffuser, which I think Overt should be able to cover pretty handily. Wendables does not win that fight. Hotshot did, in fact, get that diffuser. Sticking it now. Kaken watching with a good angle as well. Will be able to defend this successfully. Got the knock and got the kill. Roflcopter win the round. Great start to their attacking second half.
It certainly was. There was a lot of build-up there, Xenox, and it finally erupted in significant fashion. My God, it just exploded. Everything all at once. A very risky late plant there for Roffle. They really banked on taking that man advantage, and they did. Now the tactical timeout is called for Overt as they fall behind for the first time this match.
Yeah, it's been a massive turnaround for Roflcopter. 4 of the last 5 rounds to sort of really frame it here. That's including their defense and now this opening attacking round. And this is why even if the attacking team has a good first half, it's still hard to really say for certainty that it's going to be how you expect it to be. Roffle, as I said it before, this could end up just being a kind of open attacking clubhouse, and it seems like that could be the case. Do have to question the operator lineup though of Overt here for a second as well, Dev, because it didn't really seem like it achieved much.
Yeah, I think that it could have been great had Roflcopter only brought a singular hard breach, also rather like 2 hard breaches, right? The Maverick plus either the Thermite or the Ace. Because then, let's say it was Ace, right? You're using some Selmas to breach some of the top floor walls. You're not going to have very many left to then breach the hatches plus that main church wall. But it was the fact that we had 3 Selmas to dedicate to that church wall that was the real reason why Roflcopter won that round. And Overt have got a lot to talk about here. You can see Sawyer being very, very vocal. Twent was going to be their coach, if I'm not mistaken. He was brought on just before Stage 3, and he was to be the coach. Then Geordie, their old player, had to move to sub, just couldn't commit the time that the team required. So Sawyer, you can see he is the vocal member of this team.
So timeout has been taken, timeout now gone. CCTV and cash is where we head for this next round. Overt really needed this one though. This is kind of like the straw that breaks the camel's back. If Roffle win this, suddenly it looks like the damn wall could very much break and maybe their playoff hopes could stay alive, and it puts the pressure on Overt. Do they succumb here at the final hurdles? You know, you think ahead to next week, Overt have to play OCN back-to-back champs Chiefs. That is not a task that you want to go up against, considering the Chiefs just lost this evening. They won't want to lose 2 in a row. It's actually never been done, in fact, Ev. Chiefs have never lost 2 OCN matches in a row. So that's some history that Overt would have to overcome. And that means there's a chance that they don't make playoffs. Considering the stage that they've had, it would be heartbreaking.
Absolutely. Overt are looking like the next up-and-coming team here, and they're facing the previous up-and-coming team, which was Roflcopter, the team that no doubt everyone was looking at. In Stage 1, they punched far above their weight, ended 3rd place, and proved themselves to be a team worth fearing. A lot of roster changes, a lot of turbulence this team has had. A bit of cringe thrown out in the chat by Boydie. I don't know what that was about. But okay, maybe he shot his drone and no, he didn't shoot his drone. There's still lots of drones left. Oh well. Boyd is a character. I'll leave it at that. I will just, oh, this is what they're saying cringe to. Yeah, okay. So Overt love this. They throw in Alibi Prisma all the way onto the water tank. It is very difficult to get rid of. You can't shoot it. You have to nade it in order to get rid of it. And it means that the attackers have to spend most of the round with the opponent detected outdoors symbol on their screens. And look, it can enable some aggression and overall just tilt Boydie.
Here we go. Stay back. Jammer activated.
I will say though, we praised Roflcopter a lot for bringing the triple hard breach, right? But I think Overt are doing the right thing here. They're leaning into the fact that Roflcopter, in order to afford the triple hard breach, they don't have a lot of projectiles, right? You got probably stuns or smokes on OJ, 3 stuns on, actually, so you got 9 stuns or, what? No, that stun is not possible. They can't have 9 stuns. So 6 stuns plus the 2 nades, plus concussions. But it just means that trying to clear raft is going to be very difficult, especially with the Thunderbird and the Jaeger and the Wamai. So I think leaning into that smart for Overt might not matter so much if Roflcopter can pull off a push through construction.
Minute and 20 seconds remaining here in the 8th round. 4 of the last 5 rounds to Roffle. Overt, they overcome this Sawyer. I mean,
info?
I don't know what that info is though.
Can't be. It's just got to be a sound call. As soon as his teammate says that one's pre-firing him from Logi, he's going to have to blow it. That flashbang could be the call. It is, but the C4 just wasn't placed well enough.
Yeah, that's a big miss there. Cairo does not miss though on Wettables. That's a big pick. OJ's down as well, by the way. He should be able to get brought back up inside a con, unless the pressure really mounts here from Overt, which it does. Boydie does go down to Edpan. Suddenly Overt finally winning some fights. The last couple of rounds has not quite gone their way, but this one has, despite even that missed Nitrocell. Now OJ is back up. They're getting this con wall opened up. Kaken peeks. He swings through. Doesn't find anything initially, but it's OJ, the man that was down, who gets back up again. Gets the knock onto Edpan. Cairo, though, has got 2 in the round, controlling rafters. 2-man advantage, but Overt have been in this position before. Twento, Nitrocell successfully onto Kaken. OJ, well, 1 versus 4, very low health Thermite, not going to be able to do too much, but he does stat pad a little bit with the kill onto Cairo. 5 seconds left, he's going to get surrounded. He almost maybe thinks about just running away, but he can't. Overt finally break through with a much needed round win.
But that is only evening up the scoreline for now. Overt will be happy that on the back of their tactical timeout, they did get a round win, but you're going to need a whole lot more than that. They have a lot to chew on, a lot to think about. Roflcopter definitely learned what it's like to play OCL that round, going against the classic Overt Alibi Prisma on the water tank. Boydie didn't like it one bit, but I have to say, mate, you know, you need to not let them get in your heads. You need to just keep playing.
Over to Gym Bedroom. What is, of course, living up to the reputation of match of the day, quite literally is turning into match of the day, which is what you like to see, because there's times where, you know, you have these kind of segments in these sort of products, Dev, and it doesn't always pan out that way. Sometimes it turns into a one-sided slog, but I think this was a kind of game I expected to really see go back and forth, live up to that sort of hype, and it's delivering tenfold. For the first time here in the second half, Gym Bedroom. Now, in the first half, we only saw it once. It was an attacking round win for Overt. And of course, Gym Bedroom is a site that we have generally seen attackers do well on. When you think of Clubhouse, you think of Church Arsenal, you think of Cash and CCTV. Those 2 sites that defenders typically win. And then Gym Bedroom, when it pops up, the attackers tend to do a little bit better. But it's not necessarily a given. Big round nonetheless. If Overt can win here on Gym Bedroom, then you can go through that sort of world tour once again. Cash and CCTV to Church Arsenal, that little bit better. Winning this site can very much set them up for success going into the next couple of rounds.
Did they do the same prism around the water tank again? I just want to know, like, surely that's why they're picking Alibi. I feel like, no, they didn't. Oh, shame. I feel like if I'm playing against a team and they write cringe in chat, maybe a little bit tilted about that, I'm doing that every single round from then on. I like this from Overt. They very curious that they're not bringing the mirror, not letting into that. We are instead seeing them get 2 deployable shields.
Bomb located by attackers.
But still, the triple hard breach for Roflcopter means that they don't have as much to do with these shields. So I think that's a good pick. That's one of the precious nades gone as well. So only one more nade and then the 2 explosives from Wedables. Actually only 1 explosive left from Wedables. So how many shields are still up? Are there still 2 shields up? Because if so, Roflcopter, they only have 2 explosive utility to clear.
2, yeah,
there's
both
2
up.
shields. Yeah, so very interesting. The shielding cache probably not going to be impactful, but
But
definitely
you can
gonna be
ignore
tough
the
here for
cash one,
Ruffle.
yeah.
Yeah. But this one on the master bed is very powerful if left up.
You say left up, maybe they haven't quite gotten around to it yet. There is still one more nade available in the hands of Hotshot. 8 drones as well, but gym bedroom probably the kind of site you don't really care too much for that sort of information gathering. Minute 15 seconds remaining. Twent just getting a little bit, you know, antsy here inside of gym. He could really catch someone of Roffle a little bit off guard. I don't think he'll go for the full peak, but he can go for a bit of a soft one. Oh, never mind. He actually did go for a full peak. Now, that is what I hoped he wouldn't do. Instead, like, at that point, if you're swinging out like that, you are literally just standing in a giant hole. Why are you going that deep?
Well, it looks like Overt are digging a hole to die in at the moment. This round has not gone well for them. Roflcopter really just doing away with them. Edpan just find a silent kill onto OJ. And another! This man with the suppressor just does everything. 3 on 3 now with 35 seconds left. A lot of this pressure has been alleviated. Hotshot's got to grab that diffuser. And Roflcopter's got to get a wriggle on.
24 seconds remaining. 3 versus 3. Just the 1 hard breacher available as well through Hotshot. Sawyer inside of Con hasn't been flushed out yet either. Red time, Edpan's low, Elements gets that kill on the Wedables, but is immediately traded back. Sawyer wins that fight against Boyd. He quite literally get him to down 1 HP. Hotshot now makes it a 1 versus 1, but no time, really. He's inside the gym. Sawyer just has to get this call to run on over, stop this plan from happening. He doesn't know where it's happening just yet. He hasn't even checked the holes. He's run straight past him. He now knows exactly where he is, though. Hotshot's low in health, so, and he's only got the pistol out. Just drops a hatch. Why not, I guess? Confuse Sawyer that little bit more. Does he know that he's dropped hatch?
Position compromised.
Hotshot has no nade. Sawyer is gonna have to stick this. Hotshot will try to bait him out, but he might not be able to get the angle!
Oh,
Oh my god, Hotshots! Sawyer could not get it done! Roflcopter are thanking their lucky stars that this man is a hotshot.
That is tilting. That is actually... I'm tilted for Overt. So as soon as he drops that hatch, it becomes a mind game, right? Now, firstly, I don't know why Twent swings out like that against Jacuzzi Wall out into the open. I think what he did through Jim's fine, but then he just went that 1 step too far. Sawyer there as well. Like, why is he peeking back? He's planting. He's not shooting you. Why are you taking that shot and then swinging back? You got to fully commit to that situation in a 1 versus 1 like that.
I will say, if Sawyer was on any other operator, he would not have needed to reload his primary. But he had no ammo in this primary, and he had only the bailiff as his sidearm. You do not want to be swinging a player with the bailiff unless if they are 100% down. Like, even if Hotshot was planting and Sawyer is there with the bailiff, I wouldn't back the bailiff to get the job done. Like, that is how bad that gun is for anything other than just making holes. So that is really unfortunate for Sawyer. But that's the thing, like, it was mind games from before the plant was going down, right? Like, Sawyer pulled so far back, all the way almost to cash, while Hotshot was planting. And then as soon as time hit 0, I think there was about 5 or 6 seconds left on the plant for Hotshot. Sawyer just had to move. Clearly didn't have good enough info on what was going on. And it just meant that he had to win it in the post. He couldn't. This is a big deal for Roflcopter, though. Overt to take the 3 points, we'll need to win every defense round from here on.
Of course, for Roflcopter, this keeps their playoff hopes alive. They will have to still win, of course, next week against Wildcard if they can close out here against Overt. It would actually be Overt that would make way. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword here. Not only are you losing and allowing a team to overtake you, but it is said team that would be overtaking you. It's not over yet, though. I think Overt have shown us enough this stage that you would not want to be counting them out off the back of a couple of rounds going against them. But it's more than just a couple now, Dev. It's 5-2 in the last 7 rounds now. It's turning into a pretty one-sided affair. Thinking back, Overt won the first 2 rounds. Just under 2 minutes remaining here.
Definitely a moment for Roflcopter to really charge ahead. Once again, the triple hard breach will serve them well. I like the mirror pick though for Twent this time. Thing is that Roflcopter have managed to do a really good job with these vertical nades. Oh, speaking of vertical, that's a big C4. Twent might be able to confirm that he does. It costs 2 C4s, but that is definitely worth it. 3 flashes and the skeleton key out of play.
Minute and 5 seconds left. Man advantage now for Overt established. Can they capitalize though? And at least keep this game continuing on back and forth and not allowing Rofl to get that match point. Remembering as well, if they do that, that's at least OT secured for Rofl at minimum. So Overt, yeah, as you said before, they need to really win out here the next 3 rounds in a row. Set up now all on site waiting for this push.
This is going to be so difficult for Rofl. Overt, not only do they have the player on the mirror at bot main, they've got hold on blue from that mirror as well. It's going to be really, really hard for this execute to work for Roflcopter. They're going to have to go for kitchen. They drop down. Edpan finds the opener. They didn't target the player. AKs. Elements can polish off the last one in blue. And it's just onto Wettables. The trade comes through. Overt once again, even up the round count. We are on break points. 5 rounds apiece.
And it means that whoever wins this next round secures 1 point at minimum. And I'm trying to get up the table here and see if that does anything significant, because I don't think we've really... I know we did a lot of prep work, Dev, about winning and who wins this and who wins that, but what about OT? What does that accomplish? For Overt, it would mean 9 points, which would actually, I think, mean Wildcard can't make playoffs at all. Yeah, they won't be able to, well, unless, yeah, no, Wildcard just won't be able to make playoffs.
If Overt win this, Wildcard definitely are out, right?
That's
if
it,
Roflcopter win this, Wildcard still have a shot.
Attackers need to locate.
I'm talking this round. I'm literally talking, if Overt win this round, Wildcard cannot make playoffs at all.
Roflcopter need the 3-pointer, do they?
They need all 3 points, yeah, because if Overt get 1 point, they go to 9, and Overt have the tiebreaker, of course, from winning yesterday. So if you're a wildcard player or fan or anyone watching, they are Team Rofl all the way here to get all 3 points.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we're really getting to the numbers now, but another thing is we are hyping up Rhythm, saying that with that win before they have dodged relegations. Technically not true. If Wildcard win both of their games and then go to playoffs and beat Rhythm in playoffs, Wildcard will be safe from relos and Rhythm will go instead. But that won't matter if Overt wins this round.
Yeah.
If Overt wins this round, Wildcard will not be able to make playoffs. They will go to relegations for OCN 2021. And that's just the out-of-match repercussions. We're still talking about the repercussions for both of these teams in the server right now. If Overt can take this game, then 2 months after playing in OCL and losing that OCL Grand Final, they will be booking their spot to an OCN playoffs.
Yeah, and just quickly while we're on the topic, if Rofl win this in OT, they go to 6 points, Overt will be on 9. It means then Rofl will have to win their final game next week to go to playoffs. So Overt obviously need to win, whether it's in OT or regulation here. They need to win to make sure that they're done for, you know, playoffs and making it. Otherwise, it leaves the door slightly ajar for Rofl. Oh, big tag onto Twent. Not ideal for the Mozzie Wettables through that drone hole. Gets us started for this very, very important 11th round. Very tense match here. I'm sure obviously for the players, they at least don't have to worry about like what this round means. They're just playing it out like a normal round of Siege.
Oh, Boydie! He misses it! Absolutely gut-wrenching. Roflcopter are feeling the pressure. They couldn't win their Cash CC TV attack last time they tried it. Overt should have this in the bag. They should be able to lock Wildcard out of playoffs and punch their tickets.
Not necessarily, though. I mean, Edpan, Twent, look how low they are. Are they going to be able to offer that much? Really, when the going gets tough late in this round, they're not going to be able to stand up to the challenge for that long. But leaving them, I guess, stay alive means they can fire back at some point. Elements at Rafters is going to be so crucial. Sawyer with the rotation.
Really feeling the pressure now for Elements. The nade comes
Oh,
through.
he's dead!
And the cutoff from Wenables. He's going huge for Roflcopter. New to the roster, but
Cairo.
he needs to do a whole lot more with Cairo still alive. Overt have this X Factor pinched and in a terrible position, but he can still do so much more damage.
Yeah, I don't think Wenables is going to be able to sort of go on him, but boy, he gets Edpan. Remember, he was so low. There goes Cairo. Kaken takes control. Sawyer's flushed out. Roffle get match point. They are one round away from keeping playoffs alive, and they keep Wildcard alive for the time being as well.
They are pumped, but they are also feeling the tension. Just look at Kaken's face. We know what he's like in the interviews. He's got a bit of banter behind him. He likes to have a bit of fun. He likes to dress up in the suit, get the ironing board out. But in the server, it's just the tension is so highly strung. You could cut it with a butter knife. Overt are at the end of their rope right now. Losing this match doesn't mean their playoffs dream is over, but it bloody well close to means that they have it within their grasp. Their destiny is in their hands, but they need to push for overtime.
Well, this is it. If Roflcopter win this round, they go to 7 points. Overt stay on 8. It keeps Wildcard slightly involved going into our final game tonight. Of course, to play after this, we've got Bliss versus Wildcard. So if Roffle win out here and close it out, Wildcard will have a lot to play for in that Bliss game. A lot. Everything to play for, in fact. Now, of course, this still means Wildcard need to win the Bliss game, then beat Roffle next week. But wouldn't that set up, as I like to say, a tantalizing matchup? For Overt, pretty simple. You win this round, you send it to OT, Wildcard are then done. Which also means now, I'm sure Rhythm's probably watching on and absolutely cheering on Overt right now to win this round, because it would secure Rhythm's place in the playoffs and the relegation. Well, out of relegation, I should say, to really specify. Edpan going for the run out from Kitchen.
One we saw, I believe it was OJ tried earlier in the match, but it didn't work. You can see that Overt are really just trying every last thing they possibly have. Church and Arsenal was locked. They didn't want to go back to cache CCTV. Wow, that actually juggled the exothermic. What an adaptation. OJ just realized
they got to keep
exothermic is gone.
They're going to keep that closed.
Left. Yeah, there's almost no way they're going to breach that now. Kaken still has 2 Selmas left, but he'll have to be really selective. Now, Hotshot can always rotate over with the Mav. There are options for Roflcopter, but
he's got to go now.
Are running out of time. He's got to just make it work.
Nah, I think you can see here from Hotshot, they're not going to go for it. That means Jacuzzi stays closed, so Mainstairs and Con are going to be the 2 entryways here for Roffle. That creates 2 very big choke points that Overt can play off of for the remainder of this game. Now, typically Gym Bedroom, really good for the attacking teams, but with that Jacuzzi wall staying closed, you have to say Overt, with 1.5 minutes to go, are in position to win this round. They just need to capitalize off this wall staying closed.
What's Roffle going to do about it? Boydie's going for a very late lurk downstairs, all the way in through dirt. Might be going to come up the main stairs eventually. He might find Edpan, who's got the timing! Oh, Boydie! Edpan even read it! But Boydie clearly had some kind of info. He had the number and he dialed it. Put in all 8 numbers and just hit send. Overt now on the back foot, and Roflcopter might be able to make this work even with that jacuzzi wall closed.
And that's one less player that they have to watch, say, main stairs. So Twent now immediately takes top main to make sure that, you know, Boydie's not going to be able to push up from that position. They know the rest of Roffle's going to come from Con, but this window here at main stairs, could he find Twent? That would basically open things up immensely for Roflcopter. Still 4 versus 5, 35 seconds remaining in the round. Wettables at balcony, Kaken now inside a Con. Sawyer there with a big kill onto OJ. The kill feed just absolutely lights up like it's Christmas. 25 seconds left, 3 versus 3, as close as you can really ask it to be. Boydie's still low, but he pushes into bathroom with the kill onto Cairo. This allows Hotshot to now get on site, get this plant down, waiting for that refrag. Wettables pushes in though, does not allow Twent. He's done some big things this game, but he needs to go nuclear if he's going to save it here for Overt. That diffuser has been planted. Wettables and Hotshot, they deny Twent. They deny Overt. They keep Wildcard alive, and they keep their playoff hopes alive.
Holy crap, just look at that from Kaken. Could not be more pumped. The Roflcopter machine is flying high once again, and Jesus, I did not expect that game to go down like that. Overt put to bed in the final round of regulation. Roflcopter, like you said at Xenox, they keep their dreams alive. The possibility of playoffs for Roflcopter and for Wildcard are still alive.
That very much lived up to the billing. Sometimes a match doesn't have to go to OT to specify being a close game. That was as close as 7-5 can look like fast. Welcome on in, because I want your thoughts on that one, buddy. Back and forth the whole way through. But some big moments. Roffle even overcoming that final adversity with the jacuzzi wall not being able to be opened up. They found a way through. What a game.
Yeah, I mean, that really lived up to the whole match of the day. It was very back and forth. I think for the first half of the game, it was, you know, both teams kind of, I don't know, weren't really pulling heaps out. Like, I feel like Roffle were kind of scared a little bit to do things, but in the later half we saw like Boydie just started lurking a bit more, and things, you know, as the game progressed, Roffle started looking a lot better. But for Overt, I didn't really see any fundamental issues. I feel like it was just perhaps maybe a bit of comms and just not really expecting certain stuff that Roffle were doing. And that just comes with a bit of experience. They still played a really good game, and yeah, you know, congrats to Roffle. I think that they definitely turned it up tonight.
Dave, if your match tracker is correct, which sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, it seems like a 100% opening pick turning into a round win.
Yeah, it looks like a 100% conversion, so it did place a lot of pressure on those opening picks, and look, it was pretty close between those, you know, obviously 7 for Roffle, 5 for Overt, and I will say, in this game, there were a lot of highly impactful players. You can't point to one person and say they were the MVP. I feel like this match deserves to host our MVP from tonight's Playday, but
nah.
like, I think all of Roflcopter played incredibly well. Like, Boydie, Hotshot, Wettables all had hugely impactful rounds. For example, Hotshot had the clutch, for example. But it doesn't mean that I would put on any one of them. Roflcopter just played as such a well-rounded team.
Yeah, and honestly, I think for Overt, this is the kind of game as well where I don't even think you can hang your heads at all. Like, they played pretty decent Siege, and Roflcopter also just, I thought, brought some of the best Siege we've seen from them since probably Playday 1. Remembering, this is a team that has lost 4 in a row coming into this matchup against Overt, and it went toe-to-toe. There were moments that maybe Overt just failed to capitalize. A couple of them, Vast. You know, we think back to Hotshot getting that kill through the hatch inside a gym. There was a couple of them, I think a couple of 1v2s that also went the way of Roffle. Those really ended up being the difference makers, didn't it? In such a close match for Overt, they just had too many moments that they let slip.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like all of Overt's attacks came down to like 2v2s, 3v3s. So it clearly shows that there's not really any fundamental issues. It's just coming down to winning those 2v2s, 3v3s, and that could be an issue with the comms maybe. I think that round that Sawyer lost the Hotshot, he kind of ran very far away, and I feel like maybe there was a miscall. Maybe his teammates were screaming at him to kind of run away or something. And I think that you know, that was very winnable rounds. But yeah, I feel like it's hard to analyze where Overt went wrong for me. It just feels like just a bit of a comm issue for them, because their attacks were good and their defenses were actually quite good as well, but they just really struggled to anticipate kind of the late game plays from Ruffle.
Let's go and have a chat with the coolest kid on the block. It is Kaken, fresh off of the victory for Roflcopter. You keep your playoffs hopes alive, mate, going into next week. Of course, it means that destiny now is in your own hands.
Yeah, it's you know, apparently I'm part of Bliss, so hey, let's go. That's an upgrade for now.
Oh, jeez,
But
how's this happened?
Anyway, continue on, guys. Sorry about that. No, just ladder wise.
Did you guys get picked up after that win, apparently?
Yeah. Apparently Bliss, no, not good enough. We showed that we were the better team today, so now we're Bliss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go.
Please.
Congrats on the win, firstly. I just kind of want to talk about, you know, getting insight from, you know, just yourself as an individual. I don't know if you talked about it in the MVP interview, but maybe if you could give an insight on maybe the growing pains for yourself joining Ruffle and kind of what it's been like for you guys for the past few weeks.
Yeah, look, it has been obviously a bit of a struggle because we did have to do a couple of role swaps. It doesn't really show on Clubhouse because we do run the triple hard breach, but like if you paid a little bit closer attention, you saw that OJ starts taking the diffuser now, and I'm more of an entry role, even though I'm playing ace. I think I was +3 in entry tonight, so this role swap is something that we did recently. I think the first time we played it was actually against Chiefs, so 7-5 wasn't a bad score back then, especially the first time trying those roles. But yeah, we did have to do a lot of adjustments, and the time period that we thought it would take to adjust with 2 new players, like getting rid of you know, the playmaker bouncing balls and like the long-standing member Campo, it's with me and Wettables, especially 2 like less experienced players. Yeah, it's been a lot longer of a time for us to adapt than we expected. So yeah.
Look, mate, you're very cool, calm, and collected now in the interview, but we were watching the face cams, dude, so you can't hide it. Like, we know what you were like when you won it. I don't want to know what you were saying. I don't think you'd be allowed to say it on broadcast.
No, I wasn't saying anything bad. I was just screaming, you know, 3 more points, boys. We need 3 more points for playoffs, but yeah.
I mean, clearly the energy is something that you absolutely thrive off. What's it like in those big moments?
Well, I got told today, like, Nick, we need the hype from you. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to bring that. So that's what I did. You know, I got to hype my teammates up. Always good to have like positive energy, and you know, sometimes it's good to get really loud. And yeah, I think, you know, Hotshot was feeling himself after, you know, I was boosting his ego after that 1v1.
Is it very difficult to try and hype up someone like Boydie who shows absolutely zero emotion?
Look, I don't think Boydie is a big recipient of the hype, but you know, the rest of the team definitely gets amongst it. Boydie just kind of, he walks in, he's like, oh, you know, mute dead. Let's go, guys. Good pick. Great job. So, yeah.
Any final shout-outs before we let you go, mate?
No, just shout out the boys, shout out everyone that supports us. We have a few fans, so it's always great to see. Yeah, and just wildcard, you got to be ready for next week because we're going to bring the heat. We want to make playoffs.
Best of luck in that match next week against wildcard playoffs on the line. Thanks for coming on and having a chat.
No problem, boys. See you later.
Big result for the big team because they're flying high right now off the back of all 3 points being secured. It means a lot. So much changes. All those storylines we were trying to develop, Dev, and all of the if this happens and this happens, half of it gets thrown out the window, the other half comes in.
Yeah, look, we will dive deeper at the end of the day because obviously we still have wildcard to play, Bliss, but at the end of the day, we'll get a pretty good idea of the stakes for next week. We'll only have the 1 Playday left. Overt are still above Roflcopter on the standings by just the 1 point. So Roflcopter have the head-to-head, but currently Overt are still ahead. So Ruffle do have to beat wildcard next week to hope to make playoffs and hope that the Overt also lose next week in their match. So definitely it's an exciting time here to be watching OCN. That was such a ripper match. I'm so glad we got Kaken on the interview as well. Yeah, really glad that he comes along, provides the hype, provides the insight, bit of a meme as well. So yeah, it's just The end of this stage is always just so exciting because everything is on the cards.
Come on, mate. Come on. Get there. There we go. He's finally stopped talking and having a bit of a waffle there. All right, we're going to have to go to a break. I can't even get Vast's thoughts now because he went for that long. We got one more game to go tonight. It's Bliss versus Wildcard.
Attackers dropped the diffuser. Defender has been discovered. Attackers dropped the bomb.
At Livin, we are breaking the stigma of mental health. Everything we do is about empowering people to speak up, because it ain't weak to speak. Join us on the 14th of October as we host our first ever giving day, called Giving for Living. Over a 12-hour period, all donations will be matched through the generosity of our matching donors. This means that $20 transforms to $40, which can provide 2 conversations with a school-aged child about mental health. $100 transforms to $200, which can provide 10 conversations with a school-aged child about mental health, and so on. Donate and follow the campaign at livin.org/giving. Help us have more conversations with the youth of Australia so we can continue to break the stigma of mental health.